So we are going to practice with multiplying by multiples of 100. So when we multiply by multiples of 100, we're going to have to be able to successfully model to multiply by multiples of 100, find the product. Remember, product is the answer to a multiplication equation, and be able to describe a pattern when multiplying by multiples of 100. All right, so what is this? And how much is it worth? If I look at this, this is called a hundreds block, and it's worth 100. That means there's 100 of these cubes in this hundreds block. And this is going to be important to know because we're about to draw some models that are going to include this, okay? So when we draw our model, we can't draw every single individual block. Like if I try to draw all of these, it would take me forever. So instead, we're always going to draw a square, and that represents our flat piece, which is worth, again, 100. So let's do some practicing with this. If I do 2 times 500, so if you look here, I have two groups of 500. Here's my first group, here's my second group of 500. If I multiply by 500, so let's look here, 2 times how many hundreds? Well, I know that I'm doing 5 hundreds because there's 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm multiplying by 5 hundreds. And that means that 2 times 500 is how many hundreds? Okay, so if I say 2 times 5, 2 times 5 is going to give me what? 10, right? Because 2 times 5 is going to give me 10. So 10 hundreds. And 10 hundreds written as in numerical form would be 10, right? And if I write hundreds, I got to put in 2 zeros because in place value, hundreds is always going to have 2 zeros. So that's talking about the place value. And if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10 of those, right? And I also know that 10 hundreds would give me 1,000. So my answer here is 2 times 500 is 1,000. All right, let's do some more practicing with talking about hundreds. So just like on the other page, I was talking about hundreds are always going to have 2 zeros at the end. So if you look here, how many zeros do I have at the end? 2. If I was multiplying by tens, I would only have 1 zero at the end, okay? But I'm multiplying by 100, so how many zeros do I have at the end? It's going to be 2 because 100 has how many zeros at the end? 2. So my answer should always have 2 zeros at the end. All right, so let's do some practicing. 3 times 300. Okay, so I have my three groups, 1, 2, 3. And in each group, I have 300 because remember, each one of these represents 100. So if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I know I have 9, and I know that these each are worth 100. So my answer is 900. But I also can look here and say 3 times 3 is 9. And then how many zeros do I have at the end? 2, because remember, we're doing place value. And how many zeros does 100 have at the end? So then I can put in my 2 zeros at the end. All right, let's try this again. If I do 6 times 7, what's 6 times 7? If you know your multiplication facts, this will make it super easy. 6 times 7 is going to give me 42. Okay, if I count my blocks, let's count together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. Ooh, we counted them all, right? 42. But it's not just 42. How many hundreds do I have? So I have 4,200. Let's try, go to the next page. All right, let's try. I want you to try these on your own. Pause the video and try these on your own. All right, so we're back together. Hopefully, you got the correct answer on each one of these problems that you just tried. So here I'm doing 7 times 3, but I'm actually saying 7 times 300. Each one of these is worth 100. So if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21. So I have 21, right? Remember, this is going to be my 7 groups, right? That's my 7 groups of 300. So I have 21, but remember I'm doing hundreds. So it's not just 21, it would be what? 2,100 would be my answer. All right, so the other one you should have drawn, can you draw the model? I wanted you to practice drawing your own model for 4 times 600. 4 times 600, I should have drawn a model that looks like this, right? Here's my 4 groups, and in my 4 groups, I have 600, okay? So if I look here, 4 times 6 is going to give me 24. So if I count up each one of those squares, I'm going to have 24 squares, okay? So that means that 4 times 600 is 2,400. And I know that because if I look at the end of the 6, I'm in the hundreds place. I have 2 zeros. I have to put those 2 zeros at the end.